What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So it's Tuesday, which means it is time for another tier list Tuesday. In the last two tier list Tuesdays, we have obviously done tier listing every single number one defenseman. Then we did tier listing every number one center. So you can probably guess what we're doing today, based on the title, obviously. But that next one we're doing is tier listing every team's number one winger. So with this, I am just, again, going based on who has the highest time of ice of the guys that primarily play wing on their team this season. No other criteria in terms of what I'm using to determine this. I know some of this is subjective. Some of you guys are going to scream at me in comments that, oh, this guy's not our number one winger. I'm making it an objective requirement for this. So without further ado, let's get into it. We have our tiers: superstar, star, elite, very good, and good / solid. These are absolute studs considering teams. The winger talent in the NHL is just absolutely insane right now. First up, we got Alex Tuch. I am going to go... This is tough. Last year, definitely elite. This year, having a bit of a down year. I might change this one, but right now, I'm going to go with very good. He is a pretty reliable 70 to 75 point winger. Is he the point per game guy that we saw last year consistently? We'll see. We'll see. Right now, I'm bumping him down to very good, though, as well as Brock Besser also being in very good. I know he's playing absolutely insane overall in this season, but he has kind of been slowing down of late. I think he has like 9 goals in his last 27 games. Still potentially going to hit 40 goals on the season, but I think we need to see back-to-back seasons of this high-level play, considering last year and like the year before that, he was only like a 40 to 50 point guy. So if he yet again next year goes for 75, 80 points, 35, 40 goals, we'll bump him up. But right now, I think we're seeing the regression that he was just shooting 27% to start the season, and now he's just naturally coming down. Jonathan Huberdeau, good, solid. I think he gets a little bit overhated just because of that contract, but of late, since the new year, since like December 31st, I think it was, he's actually been around point per game. It's only like 14 or 15 games, so you can't say like, oh, he's a stud, but I think he is getting a little bit overhated. If you took the contract away, I do think he's a low-end first liner, high-end second liner going forward, around 60-ish point guy. Claude Giroux might be elite. I'm gonna put him in very good. If I have Alex Tuch in very good still, I'm gonna have Claude Giroux in elite. I'm very good. He's a very solid two-way player still. Obviously plays mainly with Stützle and Tkachuk, forms one of the better lines in the NHL, even though their team on the whole sucks. So I still think Claude Giroux has a lot of game. Definitely not what he was 3-4 years ago, but still a very good player. Philip Kurashev. You got to put him in good / solid. Having a solid year by his standards is because he's playing a lot on Bedard's wing, but he's something. He's something going forward. Hopefully with the Blackhawks, he can be a around 50-ish point guy, and that's a pretty solid piece for them considering they're going to be bringing in these high-end forwards through the draft next couple of years. Kurashev could be a decent piece for them. Nikita Kucherov, obviously superstar. Don't think that's that controversial. Leading the entire NHL in points with 94 this year. Probably going to set a career high in goals and points on the whole. 128 is the number to hit with him. He is no doubt a top 6 player in the NHL at this point. End of discussion. Mark Stone, I'm going to go with elite. If he could stay healthy all the way, he'd maybe be a star. One of the most underrated more so underrated stars in the NHL, in my opinion. More so one of the underrated elite players. Obviously, I don't know him in stars, but one of the more elite underrated two-way guys. I think he kind of gets overlooked. He's only around point per game-ish, but he's fantastic defensively. A very elite player. Matt Barzal, also going to go with elite. He might sniff 90 goals. I think he's roughly on pace for it. He has either 57 or 58 points in 53 games right now. Definitely really flourishing now that some of the two-way defensive responsibilities kind of been taken off him with a Bo Horvat. He's just been able to more focus on his offensive game, and is just one of the best skaters in the entire NHL. Fantastic in terms of possessing the puck in the offensive zone. He's a delight to watch. My favorite player by far in the NHL to watch. Can't really put him in star quite yet until he puts up like back-to-back 90, 95 point seasons. I think he can. Johnny Gaudreau, good to solid. He has like 36 points in 54 games right now. It's definitely more so solid right now. I think he can potentially bounce back, say, next year if Adam Fantilli takes that next step. I wouldn't be shocked if Johnny Gaudreau could bounce back to a 70-ish point guy. Granted, that'd be 20 goals, 50 assists. Most likely he's not a goal scorer at all. But with that contract, like with Huberdeau, he gets a little bit overhated because he's getting paid so much, but he is no longer an elite player like they were back in the 2022 season. Mikko Rantanen, superstar. I think you got to have him in superstar considering last year, 55 goals, 50 assists, 105 points. This year on pace for around like 45 goals, 60 assists. A top 12 player in the NHL. Definitely top 15 in my opinion. Troy Terry, Troy Terry gets very good. Basically, since 2 years ago, he's been around the 65 to 75 point guy. The Anaheim Ducks have not been good teams during that stretch, and he has really kind of had to carry them offensively. So I think he is a very good player and is on a very solid, like 7x7 deal. Very good. Mitch Marner. Ooh, I might move him up later, but right now, star, having a bit of a down year offensively, even though Auston Matthews is scoring a goal every single goddamn game, but still a very good two-way guy. I'm going to bump him up right now. I'm going to bump him up into superstar. Sam Reinhart. Sam Reinhart goes in elite as of right now. I can't quite put him in a star, even though he's having definitely a star season, on pace for 58 goals. The 2 prior years, he was a good, very good first-liner two-way guy. This year, he's also been very solid defensively, but I think it's a little bit premature to call him a star, a top 25, top 30 player in the NHL. He's in like the 31 to 40 range, in my opinion. And if he bounces back or repeats this year, he's definitely going to be in the star category. Seth Jarvis, having a quiet year. I think he has like 48 points in 54 games. This was obviously a guy that had a fantastic first season in the NHL, was around 60-point pace, then had a bit of a down year in terms of his sophomore season, only 39 points. This year, really stepping up into that first-line role. I think he's going to develop into a very solid 70-ish point two-way guy. That's basically what he is right now, so I have him very good. Travis Konecny, elite. He has been the main catalyst of offense this year for the Philadelphia Flyers, hovering around 35-ish goal pace, goal and assist pace this season. On top of last year, I think he had like 31 goals and 30 assists in 60 games. So this is back-to-back years of just being fantastic offensively. You got to have him in elite. Artemi Panarin, I'm going to go with superstar. Last year, a little bit disappointing, only 92 points by his standards in not 82 games. This year, going to go north of 100 points for, I think, the first time in his career. He was going to do it before the 2020 shutdown, but he's going to set basically every single career high this season in terms of goals and assists, and has been playing like a top 10 guy in the entire NHL this season. Jordan Eberle, a solid player. I think he's probably going to end up getting traded at the deadline, probably going to get a first-round pick. Definitely no longer that elite guy that he was in, say, Edmonton or New York, but still a solid around 50-ish point guy. David Pastrnak, superstar. I might have to move down some guy. We're going to see how fat this gets. But David Pastrnak, obviously, superstar. Last year, runner-up for the Hart Trophy. This year, other guys are having fantastic seasons, but he's basically like replicating almost what he did last year, but a little bit less goals, a little bit more assists for a Boston Bruins team that has some solid offensive pieces, but Brad Marchand's no longer what he used to be. Doesn't have the best center play, and he's still on pace for like 105, 110 points. Absolute superstar, no doubt top 10 player. Ovechkin, I'm gonna put him in very good. He's definitely starting to heat up. The first half of the season, definitely in good or solid, but I think he was just shooting like 6 or 7%. People thought that he was washed up. He was still getting a shit ton of opportunities, a black hole defensively, but I think next season, if he's fully healthy, I wouldn't be shocked if he goes for 35-ish goals yet again, and people are like, oh, he's all the way back, when this year was more so him just having a very unlucky season. Alex DeBrincat, I don't know about DeBrincat. He started off so good this season, but when you look at him in the last 40-ish games, he's only like 30 and 30 pace. I'm gonna put him in good. I would take all 4 of these guys ahead of. Why is Reinhardt's like eyes like that? That's weird. But I'm gonna put DeBrincat. I still think that he's well worth the $7.8 million. But I do think of Matt Barzal. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman also goes in very good. Definitely has the benefit of playing with Connor McDavid, was above a point per game last year. This year might score 40 goals. I think in his own right, he's a very good power forward. Definitely has benefited from playing with great players like McDavid, like Matthews. I think very good is fair for Zach Hyman. I'm going to have to bump down some of these guys into star because I can't put Jake Gensel in star, but I think he's definitely an elite player. Gives you around 40 goals, 40 assists every single season. Going to be very interesting to see if he ends up getting traded at this year's deadline. Kyle Connor, that's a guy that I can put in star. I think that Kyle Connor, when he is fully healthy, obviously dealt with an injury this year, still on pace for around 40 goals. 2 seasons ago, 47 goals, 46 assists in like 80 games. When he is healthy, I think he's one of the best goal-scoring wingers in the entire NHL. Cole Caulfield, can I put him in very good? I'm going to do it. He's been playing much better of late. I think right now, while he's not putting up like the 40 goals that we expected, I still think that he is a very good first liner. Him, Suzuki, and Slavkovsky have been sneakily a very good line, especially the last month or so. I think Cole Caulfield is definitely a step above all of these guys. This is just clustered as hell. Philip Forsberg, elite. Philip Forsberg is definitely an elite player. When looking at it 2 years ago, he had like 42 and 42 and 69. A little bit of a down year last year, but yet again, him, Ryan O'Reilly, and Gustav Nyquist are forming one of the sneakily best lines in the entire NHL right now. So I think Philip Forsberg has to be in that elite category. Pavel Buchnevich not having the offensive impact that he had last year when he was about a point per game. His finishing has dipped a little bit, but I still think he's a very solid two-way winger for the St. Louis Blues. A very good player. Again, just a step up from all these guys. Bratt goes in elite, about on the same tier as like a Barzal, as Philip Forsberg, in my opinion. One of the best wingers in terms of transitional play, just such a good skater in terms of him. Him and Jack Hughes just are so dynamic out there in transition and has been working a lot on his shot in the most recent years. He has been goal scoring at a higher rate, so I'm going to go with elite. Clayton Keller, also an elite guy. Clayton Keller is also an elite guy, in my opinion. You look at him on an Arizona Coyotes team that doesn't have a ton of talent. He's been right around point per game for basically the last 3 seasons. If he was on a better team, he'd probably be going for like 85. Well, he went for 85 or 86 points last year. He'd probably be going for like 90, low 90s. So I think he is an elite player. Kirill Kaprizov. Damn it. I think you got to have Kaprizov and Superstar. Oh, dude, this is bad. I'm gonna bump Mark Stone up, okay? Just because I like his two-way play. I think he is a top 30 player. But in terms of Kaprizov, really coming on as of late. He has 32 points in his last 19 games. I just made an Instagram graphic on that. 15 goals, 17 assists in his last 19 games, carrying Minnesota right now on like a 5-game win streak. Wants them to make the playoffs. He started off pretty slow, but I still think when this guy is healthy and playing like he's capable of, he is a top 15 player. Fabian Zetterlund, I'm going to go with good, solid. San Jose Sharks just kind of stink, so it is what it is. Adrian Kempe, again, there's so many fringe guys. You could put Kempe in elite, but I think I'm going to just put him in very good. Again, you could put Kempe, Hyman, DeBrincat, Tuck, Giroux, like all in elite. This is tough. And then Jason Robertson, I'm going to put him in star right now. I do think he has kind of lost his superstar status. He's still putting up around point per game, but after 109 points last year, you kind of expected at least 100 points if he only goes for 82. I still think that he is such a talented, skilled player at 6'3", fantastic shot. I think he is going to bounce back, but having such a down season after the expectations were so high of him, I had him like as my 10th or 11th best player last year. He's not playing like that this year, not even the clear best player on his line like he was last year. I do think you have to drop him down a spot. But here it is. This is a very uneven one. We have how many guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 guys in very good and 3 in star. It is, yeah. Maybe I should have got rid of a tier. Only 4 tiers, and it probably would make a lot more sense. But let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Who would you move up? Who would you move down? And I'll be seeing the next one.